Prickly Porky nearly chokes. Chapter 8. Hardly a Jimmy Skunk was beyond sight and hearing, and after having made his call, then Red-Eye the Vireo, whose home it is in the tree, just at the foot of the hill where Prickly Porky lives, heard a very strange noise. He was very busy, was Red-Eye, telling all who would listen how happy he was on a beautiful world this is. And Red-Eye seemed to think that this is the special mission in life. That was why he was in Green Forest, for its one special purpose, to sing all day. That's what Red-Eye did. He loved to sing and say, God is great all the time. Even in the hottest weather, when all the other birds forgot to sing, his little song of gladness and happiness, it never seemed to enter his head that he is making other people happy just by being happy himself and saying so. At first, he hardly noticed the strange noise. But when he stopped singing a bit for a rest, he heard it very plainly, and it sounded so very queer that he flew up the hill toward the place from which it seemed to come. And then his bright eyes soon discovered Prickly Porky. Right away he saw that Prickly Porky was in some kind of trouble, and that he was also making that queer noise. Prickly Porky was on the ground at the foot of the tree, and he was rolling over and kicking and clawing at his mouth from what a little strange piece of bark was hanging. It was such a strange phenomenon that Red-Eye simply stared for a minute. Then in a flash it came to him what it meant. Prickly Porky was choking, and it was seeming if something wasn't done to help him, he might choke to death. Now there was nothing that Red-Eye himself could have done to help, for he was way too small. He must get help somewhere else, and he must do it quickly. Anxiously he looked this way and that way, but there was no one in sight. Then he remembered that Uncle Bill Possum's hollow tree was not far away. Perhaps Uncle Billy could help. He wondered Uncle Billy was at home or whether he was wasting his time out. So he'd better find out. Uncle Billy was at home, and when he heard that his old friend Prickly Porky was in trouble, he hurried up the hill as fast as he could. And he saw right away that what was the trouble. Yo, keep there still a minute, Brer Porky, he commanded, for he did not go too close while Prickly Porky was rolling and kicking around, so for fear that he'd get some of those 1,000 little spears Prickly Porky carries in his coat. Prickly Porky did as he was told. Indeed, he was so weak from his long struggle that he was glad to. Unc' Billy caught him hold of that piece of bark hanging from Prickly Porky's mouth. Then he braced himself and pulled him all his might. For a minute, the piece of bark held. Then it gave way suddenly so that Uncle Billy fell over flat on his back. And Uncle Billy scrambled to his feet and looked reprovingly at Prickly Porky. He lay there panting for breath, and with his big tears rolling down his face. I certainly am surprised, Brer Porky. I certainly am surprised that you should be so greedy that you'd choke yourself, said Uncle Billy, shaking his head. Prickly Porky grinned weakly and rather foolishly. It wasn't greed, Uncle Billy. It wasn't greed at all, he replied. Then what was it, might I ask, demanded Uncle Billy severely. I thought of something funny right in the middle of my meal, and I laughed just as I started to swallow. And that piece of bark went down the wrong way, explained Prickly Porky. And then, as if we mere thought of a thing that might have made him laugh before was too much for him, he began to laugh again. And he laughed and he laughed and he laughed until finally Uncle Billy quite lost patience. You certainly have lost your manners, Brer Porky, he snapped. Prickly Porky wiped the tears from his eyes. Come closer so that I can whisper to you, Uncle Billy. A little bit suspicious, Uncle Billy came near enough for Prickly Porky to whisper. And then he had finished. Uncle Billy was wiping his tears of laughter from his own eyes. God is great all the time, all the time. God is good.